You remind me of my daughter.
I remind you of your 3-month-old daughter.
She can speak
because of this. That's all you do.
All right, here we go. And hello and welcome to the Jesus Juked podcast, the after hours edition, third night in a row. As always, I am one of your hosts, student pastor at Aurora Baptist Temple, Christian Martin. Joined with me are two of the 100 people that are going to go fight a gorilla, Jeff Bain Jr. and Devin Kress. Fellas, who do you think would win? 100 people or one silverback gorilla?
One silverback gorilla.
Yeah, it depends.
I don't think
what?
I don't think the gorilla would allow them to get close enough to do anything.
Is it a fist fight or do we have to have weapons?
Brawl to the fight, no weapons, no tools.
Yeah, I'd say 100 people would actually take down a gorilla.
You know what
if
a
they work
silverback
together.
gorilla looks like?
If they work together.
What's the biggest animal you think you could beat on your own?
Probably a whale.
You'd have to fight it in its habitat.
Oh, why did I just drag that bad boy out? Come on with me. The biggest animal I think I could beat up, I would say I've always wanted to fight a lion.
You'd get wrecked.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think I could break its
Lions are like
No.
600 pounds.
I don't give a crap, so am I. What's your point? What's your point?
Lions also
I beat
have
Blake up all the time.
Lions have...
big, sharp teeth.
Lions' tongues are so, like, sandpapery, they can rip your skin off.
I won't let him get that close. Oh, you know what I'm going to do?
You're
No.
not going to get a lion get... Have you seen The Lion King?
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? It's going to come at me. I'm going to Olay it a few times because I'm him. And then...
It's not a bull.
And
It'll go right back around and make a U-turn
and
real
then when
fast.
it does that, when it slows down to whip its butt back around to come back, I'm going to jump on its back. And then the rest I can't say in a podcast because it will get flagged.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm just joking. Probably a kangaroo. I really wanted to fight a kangaroo.
Have you seen the videos of people punching... Yeah, I love it.
I mean, they get mad. I mean,
yeah.
I want to fight a kangaroo.
I think the biggest animal I could take down on my own...
A cat.
Well, I was going to say, like, I don't think I'm getting past a Rottweiler.
I was about to say a dog.
A what, Ryan?
Maybe,
A Rottweiler? Yeah, I don't think I'm getting past that.
maybe a deer, depending.
I mean, you
Oh,
could...
yeah, no, that's fair.
No,
Th-
deer...
Them's heavy, too.
They're mean.
A deer,
Have you seen Tommy
deer's
Boy?
mean.
All you would have to do against a dog, maybe not a lion, because the lion doesn't care. They want the biggest set of meat. A dog just some meat.
Where are you getting the meat from?
Bro, your freaking freezer. Where do you get meat? Walmart? I hope not. It's expensive.
It's
Aldi?
expensive. Aldi. But, in case you haven't noticed, we are missing one of our own. Blake Hillhouse. Senior, junior. The third. We're missing him. He's holier than us. Finally.
Yep.
He's on a missions trip.
Yep.
Which is crazy because he doesn't even read his Bible.
Or tithe.
Or...
That's why it's hot in here.
I've been texting him this week.
Yeah.
And I've just been saying like, oh man, how's Nicaragua? And, I don't know exactly what he's up to, but it seems like he's having a good time.
Yeah.
He said he's been building houses and doing construction
And
work.
then, so pretty much, yeah, that. And then he said, I think today.
He said he was going door to door telling people about, like,
Jesus.
yeah, about,
I would
but
assume so.
he said something else along the lines of that, but yeah.
Who else would he talk about?
What he was going to talk
Oh,
about,
okay.
sorry.
Adam.
Eve.
What if you want to talk about Adam?
It's only half the story, my friend.
Okay.
That's a Jesus juke.
Eves.
Was the youth group... I'm switching. Was the youth group here ever named something besides ABT students?
Not since I've been here.
You know that sign outside on the gym
Yeah.
that says Axis?
It says Axis.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's another name.
I don't know what it is, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this phenomenon, but it seems like, especially from the years like 2014 to 2019, every youth group wanted to have some stupid name.
Yeah.
That's just one word that's like kind of vague and like
Yeah, like Cubbies.
cool sound. How'd you know I was going to name our youth group Cubbies?
I just figured. You'd probably like, what a Bears. Guys, what a
I couldn't beat a bear in a fight.
Heck no, dude.
Could beat a cubby.
Could beat a cubby.
Cubbies are only like 4 years old.
Yeah, but if you got a cubby, there's probably another one nearby.
I've seen those kids down there in the cubbies. I think I could take a few.
I don't know. Some of them are crazy.
Throw some goldfish on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so the formula kind of goes like, it's just like a noun. No, actually, it's probably more verbs than just nouns. So I was wondering, what's the coolest, most cliche youth name we could come up with? It's typically like a verb, either like in the past tense or the present tense.
So what is axis? How is that?
Well, that's a noun. That's an anomaly. But like elevate.
What does axis mean?
Axis.
Because AXIS.
Yeah, that's like, on a graph you have like the two main lines.
Oh,
I don't know. And that's the other thing. Like it has to like barely relate to Jesus.
Yeah.
It has to be vague enough that you can like squirm it in. So like, for example, elevate.
Elevation.
Elevate is a very common youth name.
Wait, I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
Just name literally any title of Brandon Lake's songs would work.
Praise youth group.
Hallelujah Youth Group.
Jeff, you got any?
I do not.
Let's think. I think.
Yet not
here's
I.
another one. Here's another common one. Like bloom.
Yeah.
Bloom's a common one.
Blossom.
Blossom.
It's a good one.
What about like drenched?
That's weird.
Is that weird?
I like door.
Door. My youth group.
Door youth group.
my youth group. And I think Pastor Nate, our head pastor here, he was the youth pastor at my old church that I grew up in. I think he created the youth group and called it U-Turn.
I like that actually.
And like and we had a whole bunch of like U-turn street signs.
Yeah. Oops. I like the like feeling of that. I don't know why.
I just thought of something I haven't thought of in years. Have you guys ever stolen a street sign?
Yeah, I blew it up with a firework and took it.
I want to hear that.
All right. This is, I want to say my freshman year. I was hanging out with one of my buddies. We've been friends for a while. And it was 4th of July, obviously, and I knew someone who had some big booms, like the big booms that are zero color, just a bomb.
Like Joe Dirt.
Yeah, except for, yeah. So we went there, and they're like pretty expensive, $20 for like 6, which as a freshman, that's,
Did you hear that?
yeah.
I hope
hope
we
that- I hope the
we
mics
heard
picked it up.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, what's her name is going to be mad about that one. She hates
I think she's gonna be more mad that you forgot her name.
Jennifer. Sorry. It's like,
Just cut it. Just cut it
it's
so
like
she doesn't
1-8
know.
right now. Anyways,
Yeah, we are recording this at 12:30.
so
In the morning.
pretty much, we buy these fireworks. We've been throwing them in creeks and, being kids. And we're on one of the roads that you could get to my house, because that's where we were heading.
Yeah.
And on the way, we had been throwing them out the window, just blowing them up. And we had like 3 left, and we saw a dangerous intersection sign. If you think about it, that's like the worst sign to pick, because that could cause so much chaos. People will just fly by and just hit each other. Anyways, we thought it was cool. So I'm like, yo, let's blow that John up with a firework, man. So we get out, and he has zip ties. We zip tie one firework to the back of it, where it's screwed in.
Goodness.
Lights that thing, we dip. We have no idea where the sign's going to go. Blows up, sign doesn't move. Like, that sucks. I mean, it echoes, too, because we're in kind of like a valley-ish. So we do it again. Zip tie it, blow it up, sign goes flying in the air. And we pick it up and grab it. No damage to the sign whatsoever. It was crazy. Put it in the back of the truck, and we start driving slowly because we're going to do more. We had one more firework, and we were going to get like a stop sign or something. Guess what's behind us?
What was behind you, Devin?
A cop.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed.
Oh, yeah, weird.
So my buddy turns off his lights. It's pitch black outside. And we're just going like 80 down this back road. Can't see nothing. cannot see nothing. And I tell him like, yo, go do 97, which is the interstate or highway name. Like, go to 97, we can lose him. So we get on 97.
So he had his lights on.
Yeah. The cop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
And so we get on 97 and we just book it. I don't know how fast he was going, but I'm like, dude, we're gonna get in so much trouble. Mom's gonna be so mad at me. Because that's a crime.
Yeah, it is.
Blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
That's a crime. Long story short, we lost the cop, went back to my house, and then the next day went to his house, and he had the sign. He was going to hang it up in his shop. He already had a couple of signs that he just put in there. He had this thing where he could make signs. I don't know what it's called.
Like a CNC machine?
Yeah, but he wouldn't make, like, traffic signs. He would make, like, big.
Kind of like RBT signs?
Yeah, like custom signs. And you're just going to put it in there because he thought it was cool. I'm like, dude, you got to get rid of this thing. So down the road was a little creek. Barely any water in it. And he's like, let's throw it in there and it'll go down the stream. So we throw it in there. It doesn't move. It's probably still there today.
Let me ask you this. Was the street sign a lot bigger than you expected when it was on the ground?
They're big.
They're
I mean,
big.
you have to hold it.
Yeah.
They're big, yeah.
So I asked because I've also stolen a street sign. Not just like a stop sign, but like a full on like street sign.
Oh. You know who else
Oh.
has done that? My wife.
Lexi.
Back in her heathen days.
Yeah. So I was in a little 2000 Ford Focus, and I'm driving down the road. I'm almost to my house, about half a mile. And I see just like the cross of two street signs. So they're still screwed together. It's so like sign. And I thought, this is my moment. This is the time to shine. And I pick it up, and it's like my side. It's me.
Yeah.
Like it's like me this way and me this way. And I'm like, oh goodness.
Oh, gosh.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's too late now. It was in somebody's yard. So I just like sitting there. It was right next to a stop sign, but it wasn't that stop sign's like intersection.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, crap. I'm in too deep now. I just gotta suck it up and deal with it. So I try to throw it in the backseat of my Ford Focus.
Did it fit?
With the doors open.
Uh-huh.
So I'm driving down the road with my doors open. I get to my house. The sign's still in. And
Would you have been upset if it fell out? Or would you be kind of relieved at the same time?
well, I would have been.
It's one of those feelings. That's
I wouldn't have been relieved in the moment,
Yeah.
but looking like so. I'll explain in a second. So I get home. I get inside. I said, "Hey, mom, hey, dad. I got a street sign in my back seat." And they go, "Nice. That's pretty cool." They're like, "You just find it on the ground?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Sweet. What are you gonna do with it?" I go, "I didn't think I'd get this far." So I drag it, and it's like, it's two of me, 6-ish foot by 6-ish foot, and I'm like, I got nowhere to put it. It's not gonna, like, they were like, "You're not putting it in the backyard." So it just sat in my room on the floor, taking up most of my room for like 3 months. And I was like, all right, this sucks.
Yeah.
I would have swapped out a street sign for that street sign.
So I think 4 months later, I just loaded it back up in my Ford Focus at night under cover of darkness and dropped it back off in the same yard I found it from.
They're like, people who live there are probably like, what the heck? How does this happen twice? Like, who took this and put it back?
Intersection?
Yeah.
me
Lexi
a
actually,
break.
if I remember right, so you know how you have the street signs like Prospect?
Yeah.
If I remember right, she just, I don't know if the post could have been down, but she just had the actual like sign.
Mm-hmm.
I would take Prospect if I was still heathen. I'd go straight to Prospect and take that one. Hang that up in my room.
We had...
Did a lot of stuff back in the day. I mean, the other thing I did is pretty illegal. Not drugs, but it's pretty like destructive, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shout out Joey Skaggs, our police officer.
Yeah. Dude, I was an idiot. Oh my gosh, looking back on it, I don't know how I didn't go to jail.
Have you guys ever been into like urban exploration, like walking through abandoned places.
Yeah,
Love to go there.
I probably can't say that anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went with my brother and his friends up in St. Louis. We went to this, I don't even remember, like abandoned warehouse
Oh, warehouse
/ factory.
They're creepy.
And it's like I think like University City in St. Louis. So like tall buildings.
Right.
This one was probably 8 stories tall, 7 stories tall.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how we got in. It's just this tall brick building. And we're walking through it. Pitch black, like it's abandoned. Not just like abandoned with like floodlights and security cameras and like sensors and all that, but no lights,
Yeah.
nothing at all.
Did they leave all the equipment there?
Everything was still in there.
Yeah.
And so we're walking up. We're maybe on like floor 5. And we're using our flashlights. And then we're walking and we see a light. Like it's not like a light moving, but like just a stationary light. So we turn our phones off, or we turn our flashlights off, and we're like walking towards it. We peek around the corner. We don't see anyone. We go to where the light is. There's a mirror propped up against a wall. There's a mat, like a sleeping bag right here, a pillow,
yeah. Homeless.
but like a pile of clothes, and then a toothbrush and toothpaste. And we're freaking out. And at this point, we don't know if it was our brains like playing tricks on us and like, trying to fill in the empty noise. But like at that point, we were like, "Whoa, did you hear that?" Like we could have sworn we heard footsteps at that point. I don't think we did. I think it was our minds like trying to be like, okay, you see stuff, now you're going to hear stuff.
Got a crazy
So
story when you're done.
we did a pretty classy skedaddle out of there. And we went to the roof and then went to another building and made our way down. But it was fun. It got me hooked on it. Unfortunately, there's no real abandoned places in Springfield.
Yeah, the one that I went to, which hopefully you can cut out me saying.
Do you want me to cut out where it's at?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Just in case. I'm gonna try not to tell you what it is. You know what it is.
It's an abandoned facility of some sorts.
Yeah.
A big place.
Yeah. And when we went there, we did nothing destructive.
Yeah. Well, neither did we.
Yeah, we didn't break nothing, didn't throw nothing. We're bored small town kids that want to do something fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Small towns, you either jump hay bales or shoot a backy.
We're limited on what we can do. So it was like 12. I had just gotten off of work. So no, it was probably 3. Yeah, it was 3 a.m. And this place was really close to where we worked. So we knew how to get there. I'm not going to explain how to get there, but it was real simple. And how we would get in is previous people, I'm assuming, the doors were glass sliding opening doors. Picture,
Like what you'd see at a supermarket.
Yeah. And they were just broken. So you just squat and walk in.
Like the glass was shattered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we knew so the owner put door sensors on certain doors, and we kind of, from trial and error, we figured out which doors had sensors on them. Right. The cops could only get there so fast.
Sure.
We were out of there.
And you know when you trip a sensor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You look at it and you think, oh, crap.
Yeah, and then you just either
Time to go.
A, hide. They're not going to look throughout the whole facility.
No.
B, run. So if you're on one of the bottom floors, run. If you're on the top floor, hide.
You hide somewhere, Jeff, in case you ever do this, you hide somewhere not where the sensor was tripped.
Yeah.
Because they'll get an alert saying like,
Yep.
section 3 was
Door
tripped.
92.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll check that place pretty thoroughly, and then they'll just like poke their head into other rooms.
Because they don't want to be there as much, it's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah.
And you got squatters.
Yeah. And so where I'm getting, it's like, like I said, 3 a.m. and you were here. I knew you at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I worked I think I knew you. And we did this so often that we had nice flashlights. I had a head mount thing.
Yeah.
And it was nice. I mean, it worked great. In this place, everything's shut off. First thing that happened, we go up to the roof. We prop the door open because obviously it locks from the outside. Well, it locks from the inside, but if we're on the outside on the roof, we can't get in because it's locked. Figured that out the hard way. So we prop the door open and whatnot. We go to the roof because you can see all of the town, and it's just cool. And so, whatever, we did that. We got bored. So we worked our way back inside, and we're all in a little circle, and the door's still propped open. None of us have touched the door, and it just slams.
Ooh.
Just so loud. And all the equipment is still here. Everything. There's nothing that's not there. So you get to see a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, door slammed. So we're on the roof, and I think it's 3 or 4 stories. And so we just go all the way down. All the way down. And then we go out to like where the parking lot would be ish. And just kind of sat there like, okay, so who did that?
Yeah.
Like, who just slammed this door behind us? We kind of just blamed it on the wind. So we go back inside. And we're on like the 3rd floor. Remember, the power's out. There's elevators and stuff in this place. And we would be in where the cafeteria would be.
Mm-hmm.
And we heard ding, like an elevator ding. Oh my gosh. So it's a long hallway.
Ugh.
And at the end of the hallway, it's another hallway going like this. So someone could run across and you could see them for a second. So we all turn around and they're like, dude, get your headlamp, like zooming in. I'm zooming it in, but it's like so far and dark. It's all the way zoomed in. And so we're just sitting there staring at it in silence, and we just hear ding again. Dude, you want to talk about scared teenagers? Oh my gosh, we ran so fast. Terrifying. Terrifying. Jeff, I don't recommend doing any of this stuff.
I wasn't that kid.
I mean,
growing
it
up,
was
so.
scary. Pitch black. Oh.
Did you guys ever have like a counselor or like a youth group leader pull like an escaped convict is on the campgrounds prank and they're gonna kill us?
No, but I've heard stories.
I hope I'm telling this right because it's been like 6 or 7 years since I've heard this story. But Pastor Nate, when he was a youth pastor, my brother was in his youth group, and there was some at the church camp we were at. It was like there's one big lodge where there's a balcony, I think, and there's rooms that are connected, and pastor walked everyone in, sat them down, except for one of the counselors. And he sat them down and he said, "Hey guys, I just got out of a meeting with, like, I hope I'm telling this right." He said something like, "I just got out of a meeting with the camp staff, and they want us to like shelter in place because one of the jails nearby has had an escaped convict escape and like flee and run, and they're like last we heard they're heading this direction, and they just want us to like stay safe and stay indoors and lights off, almost like to not draw attention to yourselves or whatever." And I think he's going really in depth about it. And as he's talking, the one counselor that wasn't in the room had climbed out of one of the balconies of the other room, scaled the wall or like scaled the side of the building to their balcony. And as he's talking, starts banging on the glass. And one kid jumped from the top bunk across the room to like a bottom bunk and started like cowering under a blanket and like screaming. And one kid like dropped on the floor and started like praying. And
That'd be Jeff.
had a real Jesus save me moment. And I don't remember how it all ended up. And I think the guy even had like a mask on or something, but I'm surprised you guys haven't, like, I felt like that was like a recurring thing all the time when I was in camp. Like, I can't believe we haven't talked about we really buried the lead on this episode. Failed to mention why there was no episode last week. There's a big thing happened.
You want to know something crazy?
Huh.
The storm. Why didn't we have one last week?
Because we had no power last week.
That's right, the storm.
F1 tornado.
We had a tornado half a mile from the church.
Talk about freaking Schreiber Foods blackout. You know how creepy that was?
Well, I bet.
I was just in my office and then it went black and I was like,
The cheese go bad?
Devin started
yeah, we had
having
to
flashbacks.
crash all of it. Yeah.
That probably smelled great.
Well, it was fine because, I mean, it didn't even smell like much, but yeah, we had to trash all of it. It sucked.
I got lucky. We were out of power that day. The day it happened, and about 7:30 that evening, it came back on. We had power for the rest
Oh,
of
out
the
at your
week.
house?
Yes.
I didn't have power forever.
I didn't have power. For
I guess.
But I know Aurora and all the other places didn't have power until like the end of the week.
Yeah, we had a real bad storm, and it came out of nowhere too. And like, I don't know about you guys, but when I think of tornadoes, I think of like the evening. Like
Yeah.
I don't really view tornadoes as like a morning.
What
thing.
tornado has hit in the morning?
The one that went.
Okay, that was like 10 o'clock, though.
That's a morning.
The Joplin
right,
tornado.
but if you're not up by 10 o'clock, that was at night.
It wasn't at night.
was afternoon.
It was afternoon.
Evening,
Now, I will say, as dark as it was, it seemed like it was at night.
Yeah, I'll say evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the documentary on Netflix about the Joplin tornado?
Yeah, I did not know that it
Crazy.
brought up a sickness.
That a what?
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't hear what you said.
That it was so strong with the winds and brought up so much crap from the ground that it brought up like a skin disease.
Oh yeah.
Like that is insane.
You guys were what, 6, 7?
I was on
Was
the.
that
I
20?
couldn't remember.
That was 2011.
I'm not doing the math. I think I was
What year were you born?
03.
You would have been 8.
Yeah.
You would have been 7.
No, he's 2 years younger than me.
You would have been 6. Good math.
5, 6, yeah, around there.
But I was decent enough. I was in middle school,
Yeah.
and it was crazy. Like I just remember, this is like the early-ish Facebook, and I just remember seeing people post about like, pray for Joplin. I think the church I was at sent like a crew of volunteers to go help clean up afterwards. Thankfully, this one, like that tornado was like a mile wide.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was huge. That's like
That would eat Aurora. It's the biggest one that's ever
picture
been
that.
recorded.
Picture that. Literally, if it hit Aurora, let's say, you could not be anywhere in town of Aurora and be safe.
Yeah.
Because I heard that it was that big, but how much farther did the wind spread? You know what I mean?
Right. Like, and what's crazy is how quickly Joplin's rebounded. Like, I think they're a town of like 50,000 now.
You know, if you look at the satellite imagery, you can still see the path that the tornado took.
Yep.
That's crazy.
But yeah, like, there's like very few things that Southwest Missourians light up about. One of them is like talking about the Joplin tornado. Mm-hmm. The other one's the ice storm of 07.
Mm-hmm. I was not up here.
It was best 3 weeks of my life.
I got told stories about that. I was 1 years old.
Don't say that.
And
So I was in Kentucky.
and mom and dad were talking about how they had to go live with somebody else for a while because the power was out and they couldn't get nothing started in the house.
Yep.
Yeah, we lived in a mobile home in Kentucky at the time, and it was bad. We had no heat,
Yeah.
and being in a metal home that's not really insulated, yeah, it was bad. Our heat came from candles.
You guys ever been to Crane?
Yeah.
Been through Crane? You know that bridge that goes across. You got the ball field, and then you got the park.
Yeah, I was driving into Crane, and then I blinked, and then I was driving out of Crane.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty small. But anyways, we had a flood one year, and the water got up to the bridge, destroyed the baseball field, and destroyed the park.
I seen pictures of that because So you've been to Mount Vernon, obviously, where the fields are, like our baseball fields. So coming from the square, you have a hill going down, and then you have the big hill going up. It was up almost to the top of that hill.
Dang.
From off the square. Mom sent me pictures. It was bad.
That's crazy.
It's been up to the Galena Bridge too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask.
And
Is it pouring out of the James River?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a place. So Pastor and I also went to the same high school, and there's a park right next to it. And that park, up until they redid it, like maybe 7-8 years ago, was like infamous for like anytime it rained any amount, it felt like all of the water in the whole town went to that park and would flood and like be over the playground equipment and all that stuff. And so it was the common thing. Hey, it's storming. You want to go to look at Fast Night Park, and we'd go, and sure enough, it'd be flooded, and we'd be in Parkview's parking lot, and we'd just look at it, and I guess that's what Midwesterners do for fun.
We have nothing else.
Yeah,
but
Then I go watch the Cardinals lose.
Yeah, that's what Pastor and I did on Tuesday.
once.
Was that when the storm was? Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 29th.
Yeah. The day that will live in infamy.
It didn't really do anything to me, really.
The power outage of 25.
But Pastor and I we both like pulled up to the church at the same time, and the sky was starting to turn and it was starting to rain. I had just dropped off my kids at daycare, and I'm like 3/4 of the way back to church, and then that's when the tornado sirens go off, and I'm like, well, crap, do I pick up the kids? Like, their daycare has a basement.
I would stay at the daycare if I was them.
And so I was like, well,
I feel like they'd be more safer in a building than a car, depending on how far that.
yeah, exactly.
By the time you get back, and
Yep.
I mean,
I was like, I don't want to risk that for them. Like,
Yeah.
they're safe where they're at. But Pastor and I, we pulled in at the same time. Your wife walked over because she heard the sirens, and Pastor told her to come in. So did Farah. She didn't leave Farah.
Glad.
Yeah.
Just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that.
No, Pastor and I were being just a couple of Midwestern boys, and
standing outside watching it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because how often do you get to see a tornado?
yeah.
Did you get to see it?
Apparently, if you're in Aurora, once a year now.
Yeah.
It's almost a year ago exact, right?
I don't know.
That last one came by?
I remember when one came
don't
through.
know.
We were here at the church in a lock-in for the youth, and it hit Sutherland's over here in that hotel, and they didn't tell it. They didn't tell us it was down the road.
I would have walked outside. That's the crappy thing about tornadoes. They are always at night. And so it's just like,
Isn't it? Yeah.
you cannot see it. So you're just like,
Until you see the lightning light
yeah.
up.
Oh,
and
hey,
then you
there it
see,
is.
or like, and the sirens are going off. They stop, but you can hear like the rumbling, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. Just like the constant.
It's like a freight train.
Yeah.
coming towards you.
Like a quiet freight train. Yeah.
Did you guys watch the new Twisters?
No,
I
I'm
have
not
not
going
seen
to.
it.
Man, it's trash.
I'm
But
gonna,
like the
I'm
one,
gonna stick with the one I know.
one of the
the old-
worst things is they added this like sound effect to the new like tornadoes. Where like it's almost like a whoosh whoosh whoosh. It's like as if like just only one part of a tornado is spinning. It was, as a Midwestern boy, that was
The one
terribly off-putting.
Twister, sorry,
Yeah.
is probably top 5. But my number one, which it's super, super unrealistic, probably. Guess.
What is it?
Geostorm.
Huh?
Geostorm.
Are you talking specifically tornado movies?
What's Geostorm?
I don't know. It's some storm movie. I think it's the scientists created a way to control the weather, and it goes out of haywire, out
I
of
think it's
control.
that
And
one.
Are you talking about? Are you like tornado movies?
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about the one where it's like attacking a school, and it picks the school bus up into the air, and like the school bus goes above the clouds, and like, wow, it's so calm up here.
Wizard
And
of
then-
Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Nope.
I wish I could remember what that one's called.
Where like 50 tornadoes hit.
I think we're talking about the same one.
Sharknado.
No.
There's a lot of tornado.
They graduate. Their graduation.
Yes, I think we're talking about the same movie.
Something storm.
I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Not Geostorm.
No, but I think we're talking about the same one.
I think so.
Because like, isn't like one of the plot points like, okay, the front of the storm has passed us, but the back end of the storm is way more powerful and more dangerous. So we still got to hunker down. Do you remember that?
I'm trying to figure out what movie
I
this
heard
is.
about. I remember that. I mean, it's tornado wise, it's true. The front's not as bad as the back, but
Man, I don't know.
the one I'm talking about, the dude has a nice vehicle that punches in the ground.
Yes.
And then he ends up dying.
Yep.
But he got it recorded.
Yeah, we're
For
talking about
some
the same
reason, he
movie.
risked his life for a
Because
video.
like they're driving down like their old, like historic downtown, like it's it's almost like an Aurora.
Yeah, it reminds me of a high school
Yes.
movie.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called.
I saw that movie in theaters.
I like that movie a lot.
I'm trying to figure out what movie you guys are talking about.
If I didn't have a no phones policy on the podcast, I'd say look it up.
Yeah, we'll tell you after. And if you know,
Oh, if you know what
listening-
movie that is, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, since Christian's banned phones from us.
There's this movie. This will be my going out story. There's this like really trash like homemade movie called 10.0 Earthquake. And it's
10.0.
Yeah. Oh, it's a bad one.
Is that even a thing? I thought I went up to 5 and that was it.
And so it's all about like, oh, this fault line in California's finally collapsing.
The San Andreas fault line.
Yeah,
Have
and
you ever
it's like
ever seen that movie?
no.
It's pretty good.
Is that the rock?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I like it.
And it's these high school kids. they're like trying to outrun this earthquake, and they gotta like go tell the scientists that it's like they know what's causing it and they know how to fix it, and I think they've like set off a bomb to fix the earthquake.
I think I've seen this.
And dude, it's got one of the funniest, awful just like scene transitions in history. If little ears are watching this, I would turn away for the next 2 minutes and I'll try to be done. But it's like this nerdy boy and this like you know the pretty girl. They're lost together, and like the phone dies, and the nerdy boy's like, if two bodies generate heat, like electricity by rubbing together, it can charge the phone. And she's like, oh really? And he goes, yeah. And they're in a cave. And I hope I'm remembering this right. It's been 10, 12 years since I've seen this movie. And all of a sudden it cuts to them in a cave, like engaging. And then the earthquake starts. And a stalactite from the ceiling of the cave falls and goes through one of them. And it's just like the weirdest scene transition in history that I've ever seen.
That is weird.
All right, and if you have little ears, that is the end of that. It wasn't even too bad, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, that San Andreas Fault, it runs from like was it San Diego or maybe it is San Andreas all the way up to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest fault line, and if it does go off, it'd be the biggest earthquake in America.
Somebody just go over there and just start stomping.
Yeah, let's
Well,
break off
there
California.
was actually an earthquake like a month ago down in California,
Yeah, there was.
and anyways.
But yeah, hopefully, we couldn't record last week because of this tornado. We apologize for not being able to deliver you this mediocre content you've come to expect every Friday. Maybe you didn't even notice, and that just goes to show how mediocre it is. But let us know if you have any comments, any questions that you'd like to send in. You can comment on our videos or email JesusJukedPod@aurorabt.com. Fellas, I think it's going to be it for the episode. The end of the episode is like the gorilla finally taking down the 100th man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorilla always wins.
Sleep always wins.
Yeah, let's go to bed.
You know what? Sleep does always win.
Sleep wins.
Not in the mornings, it doesn't.
Yeah,
Nope.
not tomorrow morning.
No.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Bye.
Good morning. Whatever it is.
Bye.